A young woman walked into a police station with blood on her hands, except there wasn't actually any blood. She described a brutal murder in chilling detail. The victim's blue jacket, the broken coffee mug, the song playing softly in the background. Even the exact words the killer whispered before striking. Detectives were stunned, because every detail matched a murder that had happened 3 months earlier. A murder the public had never heard about. There was only one problem. According to phone records, surveillance cameras, and dozens of witnesses, she had been over 300 kilometers away. She couldn't possibly have seen it. So how did she remember a murder she never witnessed? 24-year-old Maya hadn't slept properly in weeks. Every night the same nightmare returned. A narrow apartment hallway, rain hitting the windows, a man arguing with someone behind a closed door. Then, silence. The door slowly opened. A woman stepped backward into the hallway. She looked terrified. A shadow appeared behind her. A flash of silver. Then blood. Maya always woke up gasping. The strange part wasn't the violence. It was how real everything felt. She could smell the old paint. She could hear the floorboards creaking beneath someone's shoes. She even remembered the numbers on the apartment door. Apartment 407. At first she dismissed it as stress, until she started seeing flashes while she was awake. Standing in a grocery store, she suddenly smelled rain. For just a second, she wasn't in the supermarket anymore. She was back in that hallway, watching someone die. The nightmares became more frequent. She stopped sleeping. She stopped eating properly. She began questioning her own sanity. One morning, unable to bear it any longer, she walked into the nearest police station. "I need to report a murder," she said. The detective looked up from his desk. "Whose murder?" "I don't know her name." "Where did it happen?" "Apartment 407 on Willow Street." "What was the weapon?" "A kitchen knife with a cracked wooden handle." The detective frowned. He asked her to continue. Maya described the victim's necklace. A small silver bird hidden beneath her sweater. She described a broken coffee mug lying near the kitchen table. She described classical music playing softly from an old radio. She described the killer. Tall, dark jacket, a slight limp in his left leg. When she finished, the detective quietly left the room. Several minutes later, he returned with another officer. Neither of them smiled. The detective slowly placed a photograph on the table. It showed a woman. Maya immediately recognized her. "That's her." The detective exchanged another glance with his partner. Everything Maya had described was real. The woman had been murdered exactly 3 months earlier. The apartment number matched. The knife matched. The broken mug matched. Even the hidden necklace matched. None of those details had ever been released to the public. The murder investigation had been kept completely confidential. The detective leaned forward. "Were you there that night?" Maya stared at him.
No.
"Have you ever visited Willow Street?"
No.
"Do you know the victim?" "I've never seen her before, except in my dreams." The police launched a full investigation. They examined Maya's phone records, her GPS history, her bank transactions, security camera footage, work attendance. Everything told the same story. On the night of the murder, Maya had been working a late shift more than 300 kilometers away. Coworkers confirmed she never left the office. Security cameras showed her entering and leaving work. There was simply no way she could have witnessed the crime. Yet every interview uncovered another impossible detail. She remembered the killer pausing after the attack to pick up something from the floor. Crime scene photographs confirmed a missing key had been recovered exactly where she described. She remembered rainwater dripping through a crack near the apartment window. Investigators confirmed water damage had been found in that exact spot. She even remembered the victim whispering one final sentence before she died. Only 2 detectives had ever heard those words. Neither had spoken about them to anyone. Rumors spread through the department. Some officers whispered about psychic abilities. Others suspected Maya herself was somehow involved. Was she hiding something? Had she blocked out the memory? Or was something far stranger happening? A forensic psychologist was brought in to interview her. Instead of asking about the murder, he asked about her childhood, her family, her hobbies, the books she enjoyed, the movies she watched. At first, none of it seemed relevant. Then he asked her one simple question. When did the dreams begin? Maya thought carefully. She realized the nightmares had started shortly after moving into a new office. She remembered eating lunch each day with a quiet coworker named Daniel. Daniel loved discussing true crime. Almost every afternoon he talked about famous unsolved murders. He listened to crime podcasts constantly. Sometimes he repeated stories he'd heard from people online. Most of the time Maya barely paid attention. She would nod while answering emails or scrolling through her phone. The psychologist asked investigators to look into Daniel. What they discovered surprised everyone. Daniel regularly played online games with people from different cities. One of those players happened to be a police detective. That detective had unknowingly shared confidential details from the murder during late-night conversations, believing no one outside the game would ever hear them. Daniel absorbed every detail. The next day, he casually repeated many of those stories during lunch breaks at work. Maya never consciously listened, but her brain did. Tiny fragments buried themselves deep inside her memory without her realizing it. The apartment, the necklace, the knife, the broken mug, the limp, the rain. Over time, those forgotten fragments blended with her recurring nightmares. Her sleeping mind stitched them together into a vivid experience. Eventually, the line between imagination and memory disappeared completely. By the time she walked into the police station, she genuinely believed she had witnessed the murder herself. Her fear was real. Her tears were real. Her memories felt completely real. But they had never happened. Months later, detectives solved the case using newly discovered DNA evidence. The real killer was arrested and eventually confessed. He had never met Maya. He had never seen her before. Yet for months, she had carried the weight of a murder she was never present to witness. After the case closed, Maya often wondered how many of her other memories were truly her own. If one false memory could feel that real, what else could her mind have quietly rewritten over the years? Perhaps the most terrifying thing about the human brain isn't that it forgets. It's that sometimes it remembers things that never happened at all. If you enjoyed this story and want more mind-bending psychological mysteries like this, don't forget to subscribe to Ladavra and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. Because sometimes, the most terrifying stories aren't about monsters hiding in the dark. They're about the secrets hidden inside the human mind. Until next time, welcome back to Ladavra.